have 3 hours for me to tell you the story. No, I'm kidding. I have a big history within the Heights because I saw it on Broadway. I saw Lynn on Broadway as Usnavi. I saw every iteration of the cast. I was a huge fan. So for me to be here in this moment and a part of the movie is still incredible. Like, I still can't believe it. And yeah, I was just a huge fan of it from forever. And I feel so blessed. And I auditioned like everyone else. I sent a tape, and eventually, a year and a half later, after my first tape, I booked it. It was a long audition process, but it was worth it.
Yes, Mel, don't you have a picture with
Karen
OG?
Olivo. Oh yeah, I have a.
Come
I
on,
actually,
Karen.
so funny thing, I saw Karen Olivo originally, as Vanessa, but then she left to do West Side Story. By the time I got to college, she wasn't there anymore.
She wasn't.
And one day I took a bunch of my classmates to go see In the Heights because I was like, y'all have to see this. A bunch of like non-Latinos that were like, what? And they all were freaking out. But we left after In the Heights, and we rushed to the stage door of West Side Story to take a picture with Karen Olivo.
Wow.
And that's the picture. And we're both wearing yellow. So I don't know.
Oh my God.
If the universe sends
The
signs,
universe.
I feel like that was one.
God was like, yep, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
This is just some foreshadowing. I thought I didn't have the fortune of seeing it on Broadway, but I had obviously heard about it and then fell in love with the music, and so many people in my life, including my manager and his wife. He's Cuban and she's Jewish, and she had gone to taken him to go see it like 5 times, and he kept telling me like, you need to see this. This is your family on a stage. Like, you know these people. I know you know these people, but I never got to see it until I started looking stuff up on YouTube, and then whatever I could find, and then fell in love with the music, and then heard that they were auditioning for a film adaptation, and immediately I was like, I need to be a part of this somehow. I was already auditioning for some time, and not a lot of people knew I was focused on music, but on the side I was like, okay, I'm gonna self-tape, and same thing. Like, I self-tape a year and a half later, got to audition in person again, and thank God, and the universe and all the powers that be, including John, Lynn, Kiara, and all the Warner Brothers team, all the producers. They trusted us with this gem of a story that was already great, and let us
who really rooted for both of us in the audition process? Mara Jacobs, one of our producers. She was, I think, I love her because I think she had a really big hand in convincing them to like call us back, just give us a call back so that they can like prove, or like you can see them a little bit more. But she was the one that said, like, both of them, there's something special in them. So
yeah, Ms. Jacobs, we love you. We wouldn't have had this experience without you believing and seeing that little bit that whatever it was that you saw in us. Yeah.
It was incredible. I think John and Lynn had an incredible partnership, because obviously Lynn is the creator of the show, and a producer, and also, Piragua. But he let John do his thing. Like, he wasn't like, what do you call
helicopter dad?
He wasn't backseat driving,
Right.
Like, he was there, and he was excited like a little kid watching in the monitors what was going on every day. And I think the surprise in his face with everything that John dreamed up was incredible. It was incredible to see him, just like soaking it in like a child at a candy store. Yeah. And John is just an incredible leader, the most generous, collaborative, kind, and like sensitive, the dream director, really. Mm-hmm. And he like made us all feel important. He valued our input. He listened to us because he's not Latin. So he was like, you tell me how this is, what is the right way to say this or do this, the food, where does it go? Like all these things, that he was very tuned in to the respect and the authenticity of the community. And that was incredible.
Yeah. and he was just like sensitive to everything that anyone had to like offer, like, is this it? Or, the same thing that you're saying, he just had great ears. And both Lynn, I think they have that in common. Like they're ready and willing to share, and also so ready and willing to listen. And like Kiara said something the other day, Kiara too, she said something the other day on something that we were on together. She said, my ears are my medium. And like my art, the medium for my art is my ears. And it's because she feels like everything that she knows and everything that she's able to put into her words and her writing is from listening. And I feel like all three of them have that in common, which is how they were able to make something so beautiful like this. So this is awesome. Just a blessing and perfect school. I learned so much. We all learned so much from them. All of it.
Yeah. Everything, everyone,
Yeah, everyone, all the dancers, everyone just felt like we really created our own little community. I mean, the community was in our rehearsals for 10 weeks, and we were, we had to become that family. But we already, like from the onset, pretty much were like, it was just there. And when you have people that have a standard, a personal standard for like not only excellence, but like putting their heart and soul into everything that they do, because it just means that much to them, no matter what it is, whatever they choose to do, they know that they have to put their, represent properly and put their whole selves into it. Then you get a lot of those people in the same room. It's just, it's brilliance, man. It's like, it's the best feeling ever to be a part of that.
It all trickles down from the top, I think, energy wise. So having leaders like John and Lynn and Kiara, who are just the sweetest humans ever to, roam the face of this earth. And then they hire only people that are like-minded and like-hearted, and that are gonna love as much as them or more this story and respect it. And you create the best working environment ever. It feels like a party every day. Everyone is having fun, and everyone is very aware of the enormity of what we're doing. Every member of the crew, everyone was always positive on set. Like there wasn't anyone complaining. Yeah, we had long hours, long days. It was a long shoot. And everyone was in it, and so much so that at the end, in the last day, everyone was crying because we didn't want it to be over. Not only the cast, the crew, producers, everyone was like sad. We were like, we don't want this to end because this has been a dream job, and it really was.
John is amazing. He's so great to work with because he's fully invested in every single part of the movie. Like from the wardrobe to the songs, he was in the studio with us. He would go in and to the dance rehearsals, and then he would like sit down with us and talk about the journey of each character.
I think he feels special responsibility with taking on every project that he does. And I think what he does as a director, he takes very personally. I think he feels his purpose is attached to that, and he addresses every decision and every conversation with us as actors as just that, as a personal responsibility to make the best piece of art and tell the best story in its most truthful way as possible. And for a first-time actress like me, that made me feel really welcome because he was also very collaborative. He had a very clear vision, but he was always listening, he was always listening to us, and he was always asking us, do you feel like this is right? Let's try this a couple times, and I'm going to give you room to find it. Like, all of those things made me feel really at home, no pun intended. And I think that it shows when you watch our movie. It really shows that every person I can get emotional even now talking about it. You really feel the care and the time and the effort and all of those rehearsals and all of that collective effort to make something that truly is felt. You feel it all the way through the movie.
I respect dancers so much because they're the most disciplined. They put their bodies through so much every day, and they live in pain, and they're just like the hardest workers and the first to get there and the last to leave. And it's just a beautiful thing that I got to live with them for like 10 weeks that we were rehearsing, and then during the shoot, the days that we had those big numbers, and learn from them and like have them like cheer me on and believe in me and tell me that I was doing all right and that it looked good, because I felt like the most awkward human being on earth, like dancing next to these like masters of salsa in New York. And it was intimidating, but it was beautiful.
I mean, I never been through an experience like that in my life. Ever. With all the performance training that I've done throughout the years, even just as a music artist, I had never been through such an intense boot camp, and I really did fully learn new parts of myself. I'm so grateful to our team. Our choreography team had us do things that I don't think nor Aunt, Corey, I, or Melissa, or Dasha, or Daphne, Steph, none of us thought that we could do at the beginning of that journey. It also was very instrumental to us. I think it was essential to our bonding. That boot camp period, that pre-production time, we had basically 2 months of training. We're sweating on each other. We're like, dang, like, I ate too much lunch, something's going on right now, but we're doing like 8 spins for this number. Like we're going through things, we're feeling frustrated, you know, sometimes, a lot of days. I mean, there are really hard numbers. A lot of days we had to count on each other to be like, nah, you could do this, it's okay. I'm frustrated with some other stuff over here too that I'm doing for this number, and we gonna get through it. We got 10 more weeks. So it was instrumental for us feeling like a family, and by the time we were shooting, I mean, that's what we really were.
I was so in my head about getting the steps right and the choreography right that I wasn't even thinking about the character or how Vanessa would dance. Or for me, it was just like, Melissa, you look terrible. You're going to ruin this number. They're gonna have to like put in a body dance double. And I didn't want that. So I was just like panicking about that, and I didn't get a chance to like create the character, I don't think. Even like in the pre-records, I went in and I sang. I was like, I hope I can like make a cool version of the song, but I wasn't thinking of Vanessa and her journey. And it wasn't until I was on set and in the world, on location in Washington Heights, with everyone around me and like feeling like Carnaval del Barrio and like the opening and all the people there, that I started like discovering her and who she is. And it helped me a lot for when I just went back in January to go over some of the songs now with picture to match the emotion, because I wasn't really thinking of the emotion when I did the pre-records. I was just like, I want to sing, I want it to sound good, but it's so much more about the feeling of it. And when we were in the scenes and shooting it, I was like, I just have to be in the moment. It was a surprise to see it edited, and also like the shots that they pick, because they're not on the dance all the time, because there's a lot of things going on in that number, and there's reactions, and there's a lot of people, and 4 of the characters are in there, and so you just have to like follow them. So I think, yeah, I think it looks good. I'm just kind of sad that you can't tell that it's me a lot of the time, because it's so fast and my hair is flying. So I was like, I did that. But like people might think that it wasn't me because you can't see me. You know how like when they use body doubles, they always like fake and like, or like do that, or like, and so it looks like that a lot of the time. And I'm like, damn, because it was me. That's me. That was me all the time.
This is the first time I see a movie that does express all of these life stories that have always existed, but for the first time are expressed through this brilliant masterpiece of music and colors and joy and making the best of what we got, and through these people that you know what I mean? Like, we haven't all lived in the Heights or grown up in the Heights, but the messages through these characters are all so universal that there's no way that you can't relate to the people telling this story.
Heart and soul of this movie, Paciencia y Fe, because it's true to like the journeys of all of the characters. They're all kind of like desperate to do something, and they want to do it fast. And during the, you know, as time goes on and as the movie progresses, you get to see that they just needed to like kind of relax a little bit and settle in and be present in the moment. Because if you're living in the future, you're not really enjoying, and you're not really seeing what's right in front of you, which I think is true of Vanessa too. She's so adamant about moving downtown and like becoming a designer and people to see her differently. And that's all she's thinking about, and she's focusing her energy on that. So she doesn't see that the love of her life is right in front of her for the entire movie, and that people are actually trying to help her. She's like a tunnel vision, you know, racehorse. So just, you know, paciencia y fe. Paciencia y fe is life motto.